Welcome to this interesting topic, coordination. So this topic is somehow connected to responses. So if you haven't done responses, just take your time, you do responses, then you go to coordination. Though this doesn't mean that you cannot understand coordination without responses. It is just that the two are somehow connected. So the way this topic is going to be done, we're going to start with introduction to coordination. Then after that, we'll take a look at the endocrine system. Then after the endocrine system, we'll take a look at the nervous system. When we get done with the nervous system, we're going to take a look at the brain. When we get down with the brain, we'll move to the sense organ, the eye, and then the last sense organ, the ear. So we're going just to look at two sense organs here, the eye and the ear. So coordination is just the process by which different organs and systems of the body work together efficiently. So I'm going to study how this is achieved, how different organs and systems of the body work together. So there are two main systems that makes up coordination in animals. These are the endocrine system and the nervous system. So we're going to start with the endocrine system. When we start the endocrine system, move on to the nervous system. So we start with the endocrine system. So an endocrine system is a system of coordination that is made of ductless glands that produce hormones. Okay, so this system has got glands which don't have ducts, and they produce some substances which are called hormones. So what is a hormone? A hormone is just a chemical secreted by a ductless gland, transported by blood, and has effects on one or more target organs. Hormones are destroyed by the liver after being used. So the definition of a hormone is just a chemical which is secreted by ductless gland, and it is transported by blood and has effect on one or more target organs. Okay, what are target organs? So a target organ is an organ that carries out an appropriate response to a stimulus under the influence of hormones. Okay, so if there is an external factor affecting an organism, then this organ, if for it to qualify to be a target organ, it has to carry out an appropriate response under the influence of the hormone. So the hormone is the one that's going to make that target organ do what it is supposed to do because of a stimulus. So any hormone can only have effects on an organ that has receptor sites for it. So there are different hormones in the body. How do hormones know which organ to act on? So a given hormone can only act on an organ that has what are called receptor sites for it. Okay, so hormone A can react on an organ that has a receptor site for that hormone A. Okay, so hormone B cannot go on an organ that has receptor sites for hormone A. That's the idea. So each hormone act on a target organ that has specific receptor sites for that specific hormone. So this is how the endocrine system is in the body. It is just made of glands. So in the brain we have the pituitary gland, then on the neck we have the thyroid gland, then on the pancreas we have the pancreas itself. It's also a gland. Then here just on top of the kidneys we have these two adrenal glands. Okay, then in women we have ovaries, they're also glands. Then in men we have testes, which are also glands. So in this particular study, we're just going to look at the pituitary gland, thyroid gland, pancreas, and the adrenal gland. The ovary and the testes, we're going to deal with them when we start studying reproduction. So we're going to start with the pituitary gland. So this pituitary gland is called the master gland of the endocrine system. The reason why it's called a master gland is because it secretes hormones that stimulate other endocrine glands to function. Okay, so these are not the only type. These are not the only type of hormones that are secreted by the pituitary gland. So other than hormones that stimulate other endocrine glands, there are also hormones that do other functions. So we're going to start with hormones that stimulate other endocrine glands. When we discuss those, then we are also going to take a look at other hormones that have specific jobs other than stimulating other glands. So the first one is called the thyroid stimulating hormone, or TSH. So this stimulates the thyroid gland to function. Okay, remember the thyroid gland is on the neck. So for it to function, it needs some TSH from the pituitary gland. Okay. The second one is called adrenocorticotropic hormone, or ACTH. So ACTH stimulates the adrenal cortex to secrete hormones. The adrenal cortex, we're talking about the adrenal glands, those ones which are above the kidneys. So for those ones to function, the adrenal glands, they need this ACTH. Then the next one is called interstitial cell stimulating hormone, or ICSH. So ICSH stimulates the testes to function. The testes, which are only found in males, so for them to function properly, they need stimulation from ICSH. The next one is called a follicle stimulating hormone, FSH. So this FSH is in females. It stimulates formation of follicles in the ovaries. The last one is called luteinizing hormone, or LH. So this causes ovulation and formation of the corpus luteum in women. Okay, so next we look at other hormones secreted by the pituitary gland that have nothing to do with stimulating other glands. So the first one is called antidiuretic hormone, ADH. This one we discussed it when we were talking about um, excretion in kidneys and also osmoregulation. So ADH stimulates reabsorption of water from the renal tubule and loop of Enno in the kidneys when the body has little water. Okay, so this makes sure that there is the amount of water in the body is appropriate. It's not too much, it's not too low. Okay, so that's what the antidiuretic hormone does. So when you don't have enough ADH being secreted by the pituitary gland, you are going to suffer a disease called diabetes insipidus. So diabetes insipidus, what happens is when a person goes to urinate, there's going to be large volume of urine coming out. Okay, and this urine is going to be diluted, like not having, like, it's going to have to be white in color because there's too much water in the urine. The reason is the ADH is not helping to take back the water in the body, so that person is going to be losing a lot of water. The second is called a growth hormone. Let me say that again. The second hormone that is secreted, that has nothing to do with stimulating other endocrine glands, is a growth hormone. So this basically stimulates growth. It makes sure that a person grows properly. So if there's too much secretion of a growth hormone, a person may suffer what is called giantism or gigantism and acromegaly. Okay, so what is giantism and what is acromegaly? So giantism or gigantism is a condition where an individual is abnormally tall and huge. In short, a person is a giant. So if a person is a giant, it means the pituitary gland is secreting a lot of growth hormone. So this is the disease someone is going to suffer, or a condition, so to put it. So then acromegaly is enlargement of bones, often accompanied by a protrusion of the lower jaw. So this is a condition where the bones are enlarging, and after that, what happens is the lower jaw of a person is going to be protruding, coming out of the face. So that is acromegaly. Now, when there's no enough secretion of growth hormone, a person may suffer what is called dwarfism. So this is just a condition where an individual has physically stunted growth and appears too small for their age. Okay, so that is dwarfism. The next hormone is oxytocin. So oxytocin causes rhythmic contraction of the uterus wall during childbirth and also stimulates release of milk from mammary glands in the breast. Okay, so this is in women during childbirth for the walls of the uterus to contract properly. There is a hormone that is in charge, which is oxytocin. Also, it helps in the release of milk from mammary glands in the breast. So mammary glands are the ones that make sure that there is milk coming out from the breast. The next one is prolactin. So prolactin stimulates milk production by the mammary glands in the breast. Just like oxytocin, just prolactin is basically centered on stimulating milk production by the mammary gland in the breast, where oxytocin is the releasing of milk from mammary glands and also controlling the rhythmic contraction of the uterus. Next, we go to the thyroid gland. So this gland produces a hormone called thyroxine. What does thyroxine do? It controls the basal metabolic rate, which we abbreviate as BMR of the body, stimulates respiration of glucose and fats, as well as controlling the growth and differentiation of cells. So basal metabolic rate refers to the sum of all biological reactions that occur within an organism. So it makes sure that this sum is controlled. Okay, it also stimulates respiration as well as controlling growth and differentiation of cells. The formation of thyroxine by the thyroid gland requires iodine. When we were doing nutrition, we talked about how iodine is connected to a disease called goiter. So we're going to go just a bit to understand how. So overproduction of thyroxine causes hyperactivity, which is characterized by an increased metabolic rate and heart rate, loss of body mass, and extreme irritability. Well, underproduction of thyroxine causes myxedema and cretinism. Okay, what is myxedema and cretinism? So myxedema is a condition where the BMR and mental development are slow because there's no much thyroxine, so the BMR is not being pushed to be in the at the correct level. So the result is the BMR is low and also mental development slows down. So that's what myxedema is. Then the other one is cretinism, which is a condition where the physical, mental, and sexual development of a child are retarded. To be retarded is to be slowed. So other children might be growing at a standard rate. Then a child with cretinism, the rate is going to be slow. Okay. Iodine deficiency causes swelling of the thyroid gland, a condition known as goiter. Okay, so whenever there is no iodine, which is used to make thyroxine, the thyroid gland is going to swell and you are going to have goiter. Next, we look at the adrenal glands. So this is a pair of glands, each located just above each kidney, like we are seen in the image. So it produces a hormone called adrenaline. Okay, so this adrenaline is called a fight or flight hormone, and is produced when an individual is angry, scared, emotionally excited, or under stress. So when you are scared, you are emotionally excited, or under stress, or maybe angry, that's when you are going to have this adrenaline being secreted. It makes you feel a hollow stomach. Of course, even when you are going to write your exam, you might feel that adrenaline just being secreted in your body. Okay, so it prepares the body for action in the following ways. So some of the ways in which this fight or flight hormone, adrenaline, prepares the body. It boosts the changing of glycogen to glucose, thereby increasing glucose levels in the blood to be used for respiration. Remember, glucose is stored as glycogen in humans. So when your body has to be prepared for fight or flight, when you are scared, when you're under stress, when you're emotionally excited, this boosts the changing of that storage of glucose, which is glycogen, to glucose, so that glucose is used to produce energy in respiration, the energy that you are supposed to use now when the actual fight or flight is happening. It increases the breathing rate so that more oxygen is taken to be used for energy production. Okay. It also increases the heart rate so that more blood containing glucose and oxygen can be carried out to the muscles. It also increases the sensitivity of the nervous system for faster response to stimuli. So you become sharp, okay, when you are in this state, such that you can respond fast to whatever is happening in your environment. So it increases the sensitivity. It also raises hair in furry animals, like cats or I think dogs. Yeah, when they're about to fight, you can see their hair been raised. So it's because of the adrenaline. Next, we go to the pancreas. The pancreas, we discussed it in when we were studying osmoregulation or homeostasis, I mean, where we talked about how glucose levels are maintained in the body. Okay, so the pancreas is both an endocrine and exocrine gland. What does this mean? We are looking at the endocrine system here. So the pancreas secretes hormones for the endocrine system, but it also secretes other substances or chemicals for non-endocrine system, which are exocrine systems. Okay, so it is considered as an exocrine gland in the digestive system, where it secretes pancreatic juice. Remember, pancreatic juice is the alkaline juice that is secreted by the pancreas. I think we've discussed this, and it has been there in most of our tests when we write tests for those who are in my class. Okay, so in the endocrine system, it plays a major role in maintaining normal glucose levels in blood. This we have discussed. We have talked about how about insulin, okay, and about glucagon, how they work hand in hand to make sure that the amount of glucose in the body is maintained. If there's too much glucose, it has to be converted to glycogen for storage. If there is this glucose, that one which has been stored in glycogen has to be taken back to glucose. So that's how it does this. We've talked about the cells that secrete insulin and glucagon. So what we're going to do is just to do a quick understanding or revision, so to put it, of how this happens. In fact, this process happens as a result of what is called it happens as a result of what is called a negative feedback mechanism. So a negative feedback mechanism is a situation where if things go bad, something has to detect that things have gone bad, and then there should be a reaction. So we can understand this using this diagram here. Okay, so let's picture a situation. We'll start from here, where there's high glucose levels in the blood. So when there's high glucose levels in the blood, the pancreas will know. When it knows, it's going to secrete insulin. This insulin is going to convert all the glycogen to glucose. So that is going to make sure that it's going to convert all the glucose that is in the body, these high glucose levels that are in the blood, to storage, which is glycogen. Okay, so the glucose levels are going to be lowered in the blood. Okay, but again, if the glucose levels have been lowered, the condition that we're going to have is we're going to have low glucose levels in the blood. The pancreas is going to detect this, and it's going to secrete glucagon. This glucagon is going to convert back the glycogen into glucose, so that there is more glucose in the blood, and the glucose levels are going to be increased. Again, if the glucose levels have been increased beyond normal, the same is going to happen. There will be a condition of high glucose level in the blood. The pancreas will know it will secrete insulin. The insulin is going to convert the glycogen, which has been, the glucose which is in the blood, back into the glycogen for storage, and this loop will continue happening. Okay, so I hope you still remember the conditions that one may have when there is underproduction of insulin and the like. So we're talking about diabetes here. So with that, we end the first part of coordination, where we looked at introduction and the nervous system. The endocrine system. Next, we'll take a look at the nervous system.